This is a KETK News Weather Alert.
Hi everyone and good evening to you. Thanks for taking time to join us here on our digital live stream. I'm Chief Meteorologist Marcus Bagwell along with meteorologist Brian Alonzo. The threat for severe thunderstorms back in the forecast once again. Brian, we've had a dry week. Really glad to dry out.
Yes.
So much rain last week.
Yeah, you know, when we kind of look at some of these numbers that we've seen just for the first half of May, we've seen almost over 10 inches of rainfall across parts of the area, especially over toward Longview. And yeah, it's just been really wet here over these past couple of weeks and even months.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did a little bit of study and research from earlier in the week, and we showed on the air that we were talking about how this is ranked the second wettest for Tyler and Longview going all the way back to the beginning of the decade of 2010.
Wow. And
the last time that we had a the wettest since that period was 2015, which was also an El Nino year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so it's weird to get a break like this, but we have another chance for thunderstorms to come in.
And so that's what we're going to have to definitely be watching for as we head through at least the next couple of hours here, as well mainly for the tomorrow time frame here, and that's what we're going to be watching out for. But yeah, some of the storms could produce some locally heavy rainfall once again.
Yeah, absolutely. And timing is going to be key with this as we move into tomorrow. So let's go ahead and talk about what the setup will be for our severe weather alert as we move into tomorrow for us. So we're going to be keeping an eye on things very closely. This is a multi-day severe weather event that is going to be ongoing. This is the main upper level feature that will be responsible here. Very strong upper level low that's really sending a lot of energy where the system is primarily located, all across of the Rocky Mountains and moving up into the northern plains. Now, there are some thunderstorms forming down to the southwest along the dry line, but let me take you to what's happening farther off to the north and to the northeast. And we're very thankful that this upper low is not moving directly across our area. If it were doing so, we would probably have a tornado watch in place here as we went into tomorrow, but this is where a tornado watch is located across parts of Nebraska and the western sections of Kansas. You notice ongoing severe thunderstorms there. There's a lot of spin in the atmosphere over this area where they could be dealing with some big time severe weather there as we go through the nighttime hours. For our state, we're going to be keeping an eye on things down to the south and to the southwest. We've been watching one lone storm at least a bit earlier, but now that's more storms are starting to form in this area. At least for right now, just a severe thunderstorm watch in place for this area that goes until a little bit later on tonight, but mainly to the west and southwest of the Midland region for us here at this particular point. Let's talk about what our timing will be as we move into tomorrow for us. So first of all, tomorrow morning, cloudy skies, maybe a couple of showers will be around. We're not expecting a whole lot in terms of precipitation. Now, going into the afternoon and through the evening, that's when our storm chance will pick up and the possibility that some of those storms will be strong to severe for us. And that's going to be one of the big question marks. What will happen in the morning hours? If we get a lot of precipitation in the morning, that could actually limit the threat for severe weather. Right now, we're not thinking that that will occur, so we could have enough instability in the atmosphere for us to produce some more showers and thunderstorms. Now, into Sunday, there is still rain chances that are expected to remain, but it should clear up in the mid to late afternoon hours, so we'll be walking through that a bit closer here with Futurecast over the next little bit. For more on the overall picture of things, I want to send it over to Brian, who will explain more about what we can expect here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
All right, Marcus. So let's show you the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So as Marcus just mentioned, we're tracking some of those storms, especially over toward West Texas. And of course, you did see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, a couple of even tornado warnings here within the past hour here. And we actually got some confirmation of some tornadoes, especially just toward the east of Fort Stockton. So yeah, the Storm Prediction Center pretty much has nailed what's going on, especially as we go through tonight into the overnight hours. So they're calling for an enhanced risk for that area. But for us in East Texas, we're going to be okay. We're not expecting any severe weather as we go through tonight or the overnight. It's tomorrow afternoon, mainly that's what we're going to be looking at. And of course, the Storm Prediction Center has put much of East Texas here into that enhanced risk. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that numerous storms that could be ongoing, that could be on the strong to severe side, that could contain some large hail damaging winds and a few isolated tornadoes. But that's essentially, they're putting there's a good chance of that happening. So that's why they paint painted most of East Texas here into that enhanced category here. So we wanted to show you one of our in-house models here. We normally don't show this on the air here, but this is the probability of storms. Now, I really want to focus your attention, especially on the brighter colors towards the oranges, reds, and even some of the purples. You can definitely see this evening as out toward the west. That's where a lot of the probability of storms is at, and at the same time, there's a lot of instability going on in the atmosphere. But as we go through the overnight hours, it looks like that threat comes down just because we lose that daytime heating. But look what happens once we head later on in the afternoon. Yeah, once we get that daytime heating, we start to see some of that probability of storms as well as the instability get really high, especially over toward the I-30 corridor as well as even into parts of East Texas here. So yes, well, we definitely have to be watching the radar very closely as we go through the afternoon hours. But then once we go toward the evening hours of our Saturday into early morning Sunday, it looks like that threat will come down just a little bit, but we're also going to be watching still for the potential of maybe a few storms across parts of deep East Texas, even over toward the Toledo Bend area, because there is the potential maybe still seeing a couple of storms, and some of the storms could contain maybe some hail even in the morning hours of our Sunday. But take you future casting, we're going to toss it back over to Marcus to show you some of the timing of those storms.
Brian, I think that's a really great explanation there. I know you'll have a little bit more about the weather parameters for us here in just a moment, but the probability of thunderstorms because of all this moisture that's moving in certainly will help support that risk for some of the storms to be strong to severe for tomorrow. And that's one of the key factors, that probability of storms, instability in the atmosphere. That's one of the trigger mechanisms that we need. Brian talked about this a few weeks ago in our Severe Weather Wednesday segment, talking about the ingredients for severe thunderstorms. It's one of those that we need for us to see some of that severe weather. Let's take you through Futurecast. We're going to walk through this. This was starting at midnight tonight. We'll have cloud cover that will be on the increase, not expecting any thunderstorms through the overnight hours. And even as we start tomorrow morning, at least at this time, not expecting any thunderstorms for us here. We're going to watch how storms evolve across parts of west central Texas. And as we get through the next couple of hours, we'll kind of get a better timing on when those storms will try to move east, if they can hold themselves together to move into East Texas. So 7 a.m. in the morning, cloudy skies, maybe some patchy drizzle, maybe a stray shower, not expecting anything heavy. Let me stop the clock now at about 11 a.m. We will start to look for that line to begin to form, and this is where a lot of that daytime heating will begin to pick up more across parts of the I-35 and I-45 corridor. And ahead of that for us, we're going to start to see a few showers and a couple of thunderstorms perhaps begin to break out. We do have to monitor, though, any of these individual cells that might try to form ahead of the line. When these type of cells form, they can actually amplify and tap into a lot more available instability in the atmosphere and a little bit more of the wind dynamics that could lead to either rotating thunderstorms or storms that could produce even some large hail. So we have to watch for that closely, but essentially it's going to be the line that we're going to be primarily focused on into the afternoon hours. So here's noon at Saturday, showing that the thunderstorms are starting to move into our western areas, and then back down to the south and southwest, some spotty showers and thunderstorms will be around. Here comes 2 o'clock for us on Saturday. We're still looking at an intense line of thunderstorms that will begin to roll through, and as this line moves through, you can certainly expect some heavy downpours, some gusty winds. A few of the storms will have the potential to be strong to severe for us. 3 o'clock, we're looking at that line now primarily east of Tyler, approaching near Longview, back down toward parts of Anderson and Houston County, and still some individual cells that are trying to form. And I think this is where the dynamics, I think, could kick in just a bit more with some stronger instability over in the Arklatex area for us on Saturday afternoon after about 2 o'clock or so, as those storms begin to move their way to the east. 5 o'clock, we're still looking at some thunderstorms mainly for our Texas, Louisiana border counties. Deep East Texas, you're getting in on some of the heavier rain and thunderstorms to move through. So you might get through a lot of the day with just a couple of passing showers, but then the stronger part of those thunderstorms will increase Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Then Saturday evening, we should start to see a break for us, but I still expect us to have some additional showers even as we go into Sunday. Just as Brian was pointing out, we still have some cloud cover that'll be around. Some spotty showers are going to be expected expected as we head during that period on Sunday. But then by Sunday afternoon, a lot of this should begin to taper off even more. But our threat for severe weather primarily is going to be Saturday. Can't rule out even a strong thunderstorm as we get toward our Sunday period. Brian's going to come back with us now. Brian, talk about some of these other parameters that we have exclusively here in the East Texas Storm Center. These are really neat features that we have.
Absolutely, Marcus. So one of the things that we are going to be watching for is a lot of lightning. Now, we've been watching over the past couple of severe weather events that we've had here across East Texas. Yeah, some of the lightning and the thunder have been really loud here, and it looks like we're going to be expecting more storms that'll be moving on in that could be causing a lot of lightning. So we've got our futurecast lightning here. We're going to start the clock here at 6 o'clock, which of course those storms out in West Texas, which we've already been tracking. But as we go through the overnight hours, it looks like that trend is going to be moving a little bit further toward the east. Now, we stop in the clock Saturday at 7 o'clock. You can definitely see most of the storms over toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, but as some isolated storms could already starting to move in some of our western counties. But look, as we go throughout the afternoon here, we're going to be expecting numerous storms here with a lot of lightning here across East Texas. So yeah, definitely want to be careful, especially as we head toward the afternoon hours of tomorrow. We'll stop in the clock, especially over towards Saturday at 7 o'clock. Now, as Marcus mentioned, there could be still a few isolated storms out there, and some of the storms could also be containing maybe a few lightning strikes there as well. But even as we go through our Sunday morning, there's still a potential across some parts of deep East Texas and even the Toledo Bend area. By 9 o'clock, even 10 o'clock, there could be a couple of storms still remaining. And like I said, there is still the potential of maybe seeing those storms that could contain some hail. But looking at our severe weather threats here for our Saturday, primarily it looks like we're going to be looking for some damaging winds here. Some of the storms could contain some gusty winds that could be in excess of over 60 miles an hour. But also looking at the potential of some of these heavy rain here because, of course, we know that the ground is already saturated, as we talked at the beginning of this stream here, that definitely we've seen a whole lot of rain here over the past couple of weeks here. Even though we've dried out most of this week here, yes, the soil is still pretty wet, so it looks like any runoff could lead to some flooding issues, but we'll also look for the potential of maybe some large hail, and at the same time we cannot completely rule out a few isolated tornadoes moving across the area, but we will definitely be watching the radar very closely as we go through the afternoon hours. So let's go and take you and show you exactly for our East Texas Storm Team app that we wanted to of course mention. And of course we always talk about this, and we love talking about this because it's a great tool to have in your arsenal here to keep you ahead of the storms. You can get lightning and storm alerts from multiple locations, of course, the live Doppler radar and our latest forecast. But the best tool there too is you can share your photos and videos with us. So if you're watching some of these storms and it's safe to do so, go ahead and take some photos. We would love to see those here in the East Texas Storm Center.
Yeah, and really love the fact that we have so many multiple locations that you can put in there. I know I track the storms that are going into my hometown or Nashville, or my in-laws live up in Indiana. You keep track of your family down near San Antonio
and
too.
My cousin over toward Alabama. So yeah, I'm always getting those alerts.
Yeah, so such a great tool, and we just updated it here just in the last couple of days. So if you have not updated the East Texas Storm Team app, make sure that you take time to do that. So we're going to be watching things closely as we go into tomorrow. The threat is there for us to see severe weather. It certainly looks to be possible. Right now it doesn't look to be in the likely category, but storms I think are certainly a good bet for tomorrow. So we just want to be weather aware, and we'll see how things evolve as we go into tomorrow morning. So just make sure that you have a plan before these storms begin to roll in, and keep it right here on KATK and Fox 51 and here on our app and EastTexasMatters.com, and we'll be able to provide you additional updates.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll be watching out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will be here for tomorrow to keep you advised on the latest storm threats as they come on through. Thanks for taking time to join us, and we hope you have a nice evening. Enjoy the weather. Certainly is going to be a nice rest of our evening, although it is humid, which you like the humidity.
I don't mind it, but yeah, when I stepped out today to come here to work, I was like, oh, I feel it.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it is air you can wear. All right, thanks for joining us. Hope you have a nice Friday evening and a great weekend.